So I was born in quite a small place in Wales, just on the border to England actually, and my sister is also a dancer, professional dancer, and she's a few years older than me. So I would always go with my mum to pick her up after class, and yeah, you just used to see a studio full of girls, and you just want to join in. So for me, I kind of just followed what my older sister was doing.
I was born in a big city in Seoul. And I was doing a lot of things because my mom wanted me to do something special. So I was going to the swimming lesson, doing figure skating and doing paintings, but I never had the patience to continue. But with the ballet, I find it was so fascinating, and I had such a strong connection to it. So I'm still, yeah, quite fascinating.
I think when I was about 8, I auditioned for the Junior Associates, the Royal Ballet School Junior Associates, and we would go once a month. I think it was on a Saturday, and we would do our little classes, and I think that's the very beginnings of that pathway. And then when I was 10, I auditioned for the Royal Ballet School, the lower school at White Lodge. And I still can't say that that was when necessarily things were very serious for me, to be honest. I think at that age you still don't really know, although that they want you to be fully focused and this is what my career is going to be. I think it comes a little bit later in life, especially with boys, but yeah, that's how I kind of started.
I was doing ballet as a hobby, like it was right next to the swimming pool actually, and it was a very small place, the studio. But then my mom took me to the Nutcracker. It was my first ballet that I watched, and I was so jealous of the kids in the party scene. I was like, Mom, I want to be one of them. And it was my dream actually to be on stage. So since that, I think I decided I want to be on stage as a professional ballet dancer.
So I joined White Lodge at the age of 10, and I went all the way through the school. So I did the lower school for 5 years, and then I went to the upper school for 3 years and graduated from the Royal Ballet School. And I think throughout the whole time at the Royal Ballet School, we always have opportunities to perform, whether that be with the company in Nutcracker as party children, soldiers, X, Y, and Z. And otherwise, other than that, doing the end of year performances as well. There's a lot of performance opportunities for the students there.
I joined the Sunhwa Arts School and then Sunhwa High School. Sunhwa Arts High School, it was where I trained. And then my first year of the junior school, we finally got into the Nutcracker, and I was party boy because I was told that time too. And actually I couldn't be the one of the soldiers that I was too tall. So I was crying, tears out. Yeah.
My graduate year at the Royal Ballet School, I was kind of auditioning at a few places within Europe, and I had a few contracts, and I had made my decision on where I wanted to go. And on the day that I should have signed my contract, Aaron Watkin, now the director of English National Ballet, came to the Royal Ballet School and saw me there and made a pretty good pitch about Dresden. So I made a last-minute split decision, a little bit of a risk maybe, and I decided to go with him and go to Dresden. So I joined I did my graduation year, and then I joined Sempre Opera Ballet in Dresden.
I went to Universal Ballet Company right after my graduation of the school, and I was there for 5 years, and actually my 3rd year in the Universal Ballet Company, I came to Europe to audition actually that time, but I didn't have much experience as a soloist, but I was also too tall to be a court ballet, so I didn't get any offer that time. But then I went back to Korea and I had more experience as a soloist, and we also performed in the middle, somewhat elevated in Korea. And then the stager, Laura Graham, who is a ballet master of the Dresden Popo Ballet, she came, to set the piece, so I had a bit connection with her. So I went again in 2010 to the audition in Dresden Popo Ballet, and then yeah, that's how I got into the company.
Yeah, it's a great question. What did we do at Sempre Opera Ballet? I think Absolutely everything. I think absolutely everything. It was just an eye-opening experience. Some incredible or incredibly experienced artists that danced in multiple companies with huge depths of knowledge on dance, let's say. So when I joined, it was a big eye-opening experience, and we used to dance literally absolutely everything. You know, we would always have our fundamental classicals within a season, whether that would be Nutcracker, Sleeping Beauty, Ballet, Swan Lake, but we would perform crazy triple bill, quadruple bill programs. We had strong ties to David Dawson, William Forsythe. Back then when I first joined, also Matt Eck, Yuri Killian. But I mean, the list really does go on and on, but we were very fortunate to work on some fantastic pieces, huge variety, and even including then a bit further on, you know, works from Martha Graham, Pina Bausch. You know, we were extremely lucky.
For me, it was the same also, joining the Dresden Ballet. I feel like for me, I grew up as an artist, of course, but I feel like I grow as a person, you know, to see the dancers so different, so individual, you know. We used to have also like a first cast, second cast, third cast, but I couldn't say it was better because it was first cast. It was just very different. They all had very different interpretations, different understanding of the music, different types of the knowledge. So it was very interesting to see, and it was really for me to learn all the different things. So it was very interesting. And that's, I think, you grow up as a person and artist.
Yeah, dancing at the Paris Opera was a wild experience. I think it was just after my first year in the company into my second year. I was still extremely young, and still at that point hadn't had a lot of experience on stage, dancing, soloist, principal roles or anything. Never danced. It's probably my first time also doing a Forsythe ballet. So I was very young, and I was partnered with two incredible women, Courtney Richardson, Svetlana Gileva, with masses of experience. And it was just a learning process. I think at that point when you're that young, often it's a blessing in disguise that you're not so nervous, you don't feel the pressure. So for me, it was just go, go, go. You know, dancing for the first time on a raked stage. William Forsythe came himself. I think it was his 70th birthday then when we were doing it. And we just had a good time. We had a really good time. Yeah.
No, I remember because no, I was also in the same dressing room with Courtney and then Sveta, and they were talking about, you know, really bless him, you know, he just probably doing what they've been telling you to do, but they were having great time working with him, and yeah, I remember, yeah. No, it was an amazing experience also in the middle in the Paris Opera. That's very, yeah, iconic. Unique, yes, iconic. Yes, iconic, and work with Forsythe himself, yeah.
So the first time we ever danced together, or let's say were ever put together, was the creation of David Dawson's Four Seasons. We were put together as the winter principal couple. We had never danced together really at that point, and yeah, quite a little bit of a risk take to put us together for a creation, I would say. So yeah, David Dawson was the first person to ever put us together, and from there it was a huge learning curve for me. And yeah, but that was our first experience together.
I also didn't know how he's gonna take. Also, for me, it was first creation with David. But I think we really tried to explore many different things. We spent a lot of time to figure things out, you know. But he was always there, no matter what. What I've asked, probably I was asking completely wrong, partner-wise. But he was, of course, we can try. I have to fell on the floor.
Sung likes to experiment quite a lot.
No, but we had such a great time working together, and it was such beautiful memories. Yeah.
We had a long-standing, strong relationship with our director, with Aaron. I think that we believe in his vision, the way that he sees the art form, and we had a fantastic time in Dresden. And I think as the opportunity arose to come to London with him, I think sometimes, especially for me with the UK being home, you know, when a door like that opens, you don't say no. And I think honestly the opportunity for us to continue working together there were too many positives, I think, for me especially to say no. And I think actually on another side of that, I think every dancer, I think it's a really good experience to join a new company. Aside from the directorship or your partner, I think that we have so much to learn from each other. And as soon as you change your environment and your colleagues, it's quite a thing.
For me also it was important to continue with Aaron because obviously he's the one person offered me a contract. No, but I do believe his vision and I wanted to continue and kind of it was the right time for me to move forward. I was there in Dresden for 13 years, learning a lot, having a lot of experience, but I wanted to get out there performing with English National Ballet. They're bringing world-class ballet to everywhere with many audience as possible. So for me, it was just the right moment and right timing, yeah.
The first program we danced was Our Voices at Sadler's Wells. We danced the 4 last songs from David Dawson, which is kind of a full circle moment because David was the first person to put us together. It was the first thing we did coming here. And also we created that ballet, although we had never performed it in Dresden. We were the beginnings of that creation process there. So it was something quite ironic in that actually. And within that program was also Theme of Variations. So we also both had our debuts in Theme of Variations. So it was a pretty hard program to join a company on, that's for sure.
The 4 last song was created in Dresden, of course, but we couldn't perform it because of the COVID. And it was actually great to see this piece in live in the theater with the sets and the costume, with the different dancers, but David working with the dancers to see how he changed things, you know, to work with the dancers was also very inspiring, and dancers loved working with David, you know. So it was very nice for me also to see, you know, in a different environment. And then Theme and Variation was a big challenge, technically, and to get out there also. But it was a great, rewarding at the end, I think.
And I think also, just to add to that, I think joining any new company can be a little bit of an overwhelming experience. But I think that one thing that was somewhat comforting for us is that we were joining dancing a style from a choreographer that we know probably better. It's probably really kind of in our bodies a little bit now. So I think that was quite a nice moment to join the company. Yeah, introduction.
So Swan Lake in the round at the Royal Albert Hall was quite nerve-wracking, I must say. But first of all, I was very nervous working with Derek first time because he didn't know, I didn't know him also, and I couldn't sleep actually for a week before we started our rehearsal because, you know, I didn't know how it's going to be. But then in the first rehearsal, I felt so inspired that the way he sees the music, way he tells the story within the movement, I left studio so inspiring. So I knew it actually that I'm gonna make a great progress during these 4 weeks. He was preparing for us for 4 weeks, and then 2 weeks in the Royal Albert Hall, so we were in a really good hand, yeah. And yeah, it was a lot of ups and downs, of course. Emotionally, physically, it's quite special. I think the space itself, I think I never performed in that, how you call it, like arena?
Arena.
Yeah. That places, you know, it was very special. And then to see that much audience with that many swans in the production, it's quite impressive. And it could be quite overwhelming with all the people around you. But I think once you are in it, when you feel it all together, it's a very good feeling, yeah. We had
a really good process. Deane is an absolute genius, you have to say. You know, as Sangeun said, very inspirational, knows exactly what he wants. I think we were very clear. We were very clear over the full length of the ballet what we were going to try and do. And then you arrive at the Royal Albert Hall, and I think however prepared you are, it's a fun ride, let's say. There's a lot to comprehend with, you know, as you're on a normal stage, let alone that Swan Lake is a mammoth of a ballet. But when you're on a normal stage, you have your four walls, you know, everyone is there. And as soon as you finish something, you're into the wings and you're safe. And I just feel that at the Royal Albert Hall, I felt that there was so many other things to comprehend with, other than, of course, the fact that you are surrounded by people. You can only exit through the audience. You know, normally you would finish a variation and go lie down in the wings. No, on the Royal Albert Hall, you're there standing away. It is a massive space. So I think given our gift of reasonably long legs, we tried to do our best to run around it as fast as possible. And yeah, the space is huge, but I think it's the other things that you have to deal with, comprehend with, regarding spacing, lighting.
Even before the show, normally the curtain goes up right before the show, but there's no curtain, so we couldn't use the stage like hour before we start. So we would practice in the corridor. You know, you cannot really do the arabesque piqué before the show even.
So I think for the audience member, they probably come in and think, but for us, it's a very different experience, exactly, because there's no studio to warm up in and get ready in. You know, you cannot use the stage before. We were always begging the stage manager to give us 5 minutes, and bless her, she always did. But as a whole performance, there is a lot of other things to deal with as well. All of that said, I think that we would both say it will always go down as probably a highlight in our careers. Very unique experience, extremely beautiful experience to have. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Something was I never tried in my career. It was first time I tried the fouette going around. And actually, even in the opening night, before I go into the fouette, I was thinking, what if I fall? It just goes into your mind, you know, slips out. But you know what, if that happens, just I carry on. And just to trust in my body, and then thank God we were prepared really well. I think that helped a lot.
I had watched her do like 48, 56 every day for weeks on end, so I had no doubt that she was gonna drill her fouettes every show.
I think I did use the spot, but I couldn't see things around because it was quite dark. We had all the spotlights, so it's quite.
Yeah, the audience members probably don't realize it because we always look like we have light on us. But honestly, at the Royal Albert Hall, you cannot see anything. You struggle even
To find front and back.
In White Swan Pas de Deux, when I was doing a promenade, I would watch. The only reference I had was the conductor. So I would know the beginning in the first entrance, we do an attitude lift and three turns, and I would count him. I would say once, twice, and that's how I know. That's how I would know where I am. So it was things like spotting. It's difficult. Yeah.
No, we've had a quite busy season, of course, but I think I enjoyed going to see the shows in the Settlers Wells or in the Royal Opera House. There's a lot of shows that I wanted to watch, and it's just right next to it. Or I went also once to Victoria Park, going to the concert. It was actually that time I went to see the Straw concert, but that time we were doing the theme and variation. Funny enough, I was singing Tchaikovsky in my head. No, but there's a lot of things to watch and go, so I really enjoyed doing those things, yeah.
A massive benefit of coming to London is there is always something happening, there's always something on, there's always someone performing, there's a lot to see, a lot to do, even though we don't maybe have very much time to do it. We've had a busy season, we've traveled a lot. You know, outside of all of our work at EMB, we've been fortunate to do quite a lot of galas, guesting performances, which we both really enjoy doing, doing our extras. So we haven't had loads of time here, really. Yeah, no, we've been to Taipei. We got back, just before Swan Lake started. Yeah, so no, I was fortunate enough to go back to Dresden to guest for Sleeping Beauty, which was kind of also a full circle moment. Yeah, we enjoy doing our extras as well because we have a little bit more choice on what repertoire we dance. We like to challenge ourselves. This season has been quite heavy classically for us, I would say. Probably the most we've done classically. So we like to mix in our kind of little bits of Forsyth works and Dawson works. And currently I have a little bit of a craving to narrate on stage. I've done now all the big full-length classics, kind of the 5-6 big pillars, but I haven't had the experience to do something like Romeo and Juliet or Mayerling or Onegin, and so I have a little bit of a craving to do kind of these narrative full lengths, which I feel like I'm missing from my repertoire. So at the moment, that's my craving. What I would love to experience, a little bit more raw emotion on stage.
I think I started learning through the abstract ballet, because even though you have abstract ballet, there must be a context. You have to have your own story, otherwise it's just movements. So I always try to find the stories, even though it's an abstract. So that really helped me to do classical ballet in a different way, and I started appreciating a little bit more. But again, I really also like to try doing more narrative ballet, I think, because it's also how I am. People don't see me as a woman. They see me a little bit more like a creature. That's quite given with my height, with my physicality. So I want to try to explore myself as a woman, that kind of feelings. That will be very interesting for me as a dancer.
Funny enough, I think I'm not working at all this summer. I'm not working at all. I will be a little bit of holiday, but a little bit of downtime. I think it's been a long, intense season for us, very rewarding, but I think it's time for a little bit of a break, which I think is good, not just for the body, but for the brain. So I will just be having a little bit of holiday here and there, spend time with family and friends, kind of. Sounds a little bit cliche, but that's...
No, I think it's important that we recover enough so we get ready for the next season. We have a very exciting season next season, having a new Nutcracker Forsyth evening, which I'm really looking forward. So
English National Ballet's 75th anniversary. So I think that it's going to be, probably pretty full on, like they all are.